You know who it is, everybody. I'm back once again with another video. Today I'm showing you how I achieved another no leave out quick weave, but this time over my locks. Believe it or not, I have 10-month-old locks under this hairstyle. Yes, I have achieved this using my quick weave, no leave out method. Now, I know in my original quick weave video, I had cornrows, and I know a lot of the girls don't know how to cornrow. The good news is that if I can achieve this with my locks, then you can certainly achieve this without having to cornrow your hair. You can easily just do a slick back ponytail, tie it up, and put your cap on. With that being said, let's get into this tutorial. The hair I'm using today is from Curls Queen, and as usual, they sent a few goodies along with the hair. So I got this brush, this bonnet, and the hair came in this nice satin bag. I am only using 2 bundles for this style. Now, normally I would be a bit skeptical about only needing 2 bundles, but they assured me that they have upgraded their bundles. These bundles are 300 grams, and trust me, 2 is enough. This is their 22-inch water kinky curly bundle, and the curls look pretty tight when you first take them out the packaging, but you'll see after I wash them before my install, they're actually quite long. And here are my 10-month-old babies. These are my locks. I have not retwisted my hair in a minute, and I prefer not to retwist my hair before I do styles like this because I don't want the parts to show in the front. And also I feel like it may damage my hair because it may add more tension, and we don't want that, especially now with our locks. So the first thing I'm going to do is brush the front of my hair just at the roots, really just so I don't have any tangles or anything right there at the front. I can kind of smooth it out. And some people cornrow or braid their locks down. I chose not to do that because I feel like I get a flatter surface when I just put a cap on, and my hair is not super thick, my locks aren't super long, so I just find it kind of unnecessary. Now, as you can see, I am struggling to get this cap on my head. The cap that I got the band is just super tight for some reason, but the cap is also thicker than some caps I've used in the past, which is a good thing because I want to make sure I protect my locks. Because you get glue on these things, listen, it's going to be a lot harder to take out than it would if you are a loose natural. So finally get this cap on my head. It is a bit tight. I ended up not cutting the cap at all. That was a mistake. It worked, but honestly, where you see my cap at right now, I would leave it there in hindsight because that band is just too tight to have around your head. Maybe different depending on the cap you use, but yeah, next time I do this, I'm going to keep the cap pulled down when I install. Alright, so yeah, I'm just tucking my hair in the back. Now, one reason you might want to possibly pin the locks down or something is that you will get kind of a cone in the back, but once you apply the bundles, it's not going to make a difference because you can just flatten it with the bundles. You'll see I'm keeping the cap a little bit behind my hairline. But also, if you want to have the option of wearing the hair up, you can keep the cap a little higher than your hairline in the back, so that way you can also do the crochet method in the back if you want a full 360 look. I'm not doing that, but it's an option for you guys. And here's how the hair looks after I washed it. As you can see, it's like really long, really thick. Even as I was doing my hair, I did not think that the 2 bundles would be enough, but the curls are so thick, you just have to be strategic about how you space the tracks out so that you cover everything. Now, as usual, I'm applying the, and I apologize for the blurriness, I just kept forgetting to make sure that I'm in focus, but I'm applying the Diamond Shield. I never know what this stuff is called, but I'll leave a link in the description box and the name of it. But the protective shield for the quick weaves, I'm applying that. You'll notice that I have pulled my cap a little forward because my plan was to cut the band, but it ended up sliding back, so I just left it on and applied the protective shield to it later on. So you're just going to apply this all over the cap except for the the portion that you want to cut. As I said, I decided not to cut it, so I'm just applying it to the whole cap. And next I'm gonna blow dry. If you have a hooded dryer, that would be ideal. Just make sure you completely saturate this cap with the protective shield, because that's what's gonna prevent the glue from getting on your hair. And as you can see, I have a little peak in the back, but like I said, once I lay the tracks over it, it's gonna flatten out. All right, so now I'm taking my first bundle and measuring out where I want to lay it, and now we're gonna start gluing. As I've said in previous videos, some people blow dry each track. I feel like it's a waste of time. I don't really understand why people do that, because once I stick it up there, it does not come off. Now, I will say, if you want it to last longer, I would stick the track immediately after applying the glue, like when it's super wet. But if you only plan to have it for maybe a week or two, which if you have locks, I really suggest you don't have this for more than 2 weeks. But if you plan on having it for a short amount of time, I will let the glue dry a bit, like kind of blow it, maybe give it 20-30 seconds to get kind of tacky, dry a little bit before I stuck it on there. Ultimately, it's not going to make a difference really, because the shield makes it so you can easily take this cap off with just water. But just in case, if you want to make sure that you can get it off really easily sooner, you might want to let the glue dry a little bit before you stick it on there. And just as I get above like the nape area of my neck, that's when I'm really going to start going over that lump and pulling it down. Not too tight, because you don't want it to come loose, but just enough to make it lay flat like it normally would. It was at this point that I got the bright idea to keep the band on the cap. So I went ahead and added the shield, let that dry, and continued. Now once I get past my ears and I start reaching the front of my head, you'll realize I'm angling the tracks upward, because I want the hair to kind of lay forward a little bit, and this is going to help hide the tracks. So we're kind of curving the tracks upward, and you also want to keep the tracks close to each other at the front. You can space them out in the back to make sure that you have enough, but in the front you want to keep those tracks nice and close so that you don't have any gaps. And here's how it's looking so far in the back. As you can see, it's really full. I think this is my first, that's the first bundle. And at this point, I'm going back to the classic Ivy Powell flip over method. And I'm gonna start laying tracks. Is that vertically, horizontally? Basically from front to back. And you still want to make sure you kind of angle it in the front to keep the hair draping forward. It was about at this point I realized I might not have planned this out just right, kind of running low on hair. So what I did was stuck one track closer to where I'm going to finish. and filled in the gaps from there. So you see I have two, kind of like a large gap and a smaller gap. So I decided to stick one track in the middle of that large gap. And then the rest was just enough to fill in that small gap. So it worked out perfectly. You can see I placed two of the small tracks going back, and then the final one I placed going to the side. Next, I'm kind of pinning most of the hair out the way, and I'm going to proceed to do the crochet method in the front. So basically I'm just crocheting strands of hair under my hair at the hairline, and this is going to help mask everything. And here's how it looks. And then I'm just gonna take a brush. Normally I would use a comb, but I couldn't find my comb. So I'm using a brush, which actually worked out better. It made it a lot easier to tease out my hair. And you just wanna add some frizz to the front. If you really wanna go in, you can cut some little baby hairs. And it will really look crazy. But I wasn't gonna do all that. I didn't feel like doing all that. I just brushed it, and that was good enough. So now I'm gonna split the hair in half. I'm gonna add some water, get these curls popping, and add some mousse. I'm gonna do a little bit of trimming. Not a whole lot. I was a little nervous because my skills with cutting hair aren't that reliable. So I just did a little trim on the side just to give it like a little bit of layering, but not a whole lot. And here's the finished look. And that's all I have for you guys today. If you found this helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell so you don't miss my next video. And if you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section below. And until next time, peace. Say welcome to my channel. Say subscribe. Subscribe.